On today's episode of Wrong Side, we dive into a top five matchup win in Columbus, Ohio, heading into rivalry week against that team up north. Chaos happens in SEC and Big 12 to keep Indiana alive in the playoff race. The NFL, we dive into two tanking teams that went in two different directions this weekend. Clutch moment of the week brought to you by Shore Metals and Outside the Line. In a world full of champions, we find ourselves on the wrong side.
Welcome back, listeners. Today is November 27th. Happy Thanksgiving to all of our loyal listeners out there. And Thanksgiving means a lot of things around the Zolneric and Sharber households. Lasagna for some, turkey for some, ham, I think, is the superior protein of choice, to be quite honest with you. But most importantly, rivalry week is here. Mike and I, second in person in 3 weeks, both heading to Columbus along with a bunch of the other Wrong Side crew members to attend the game, hopefully see a win in person for the first time in a few years. So the rivalry is here. It is strong. But before we go to that, we got to talk about what went down in Columbus this past Saturday with a fantastic 38-15 win over the fraudulent Indiana Hoosiers. And Google me Curt Cignetti. I got a lot of opinions. I'm very happy for once. I am very happy, but I want you to go first. Set the table for us, Mike. What'd you think of the Indiana game?
Yeah, great win. Great win. I think that the thing about these kind of games, it was a tough game. I think the energy felt different all week leading up to the game, in my opinion. They were saying for everybody to get loud. They wanted the stadium to get loud. Felt like that was kind of like their main selling point. They know it's not loud enough. I think they know, and I think they realize. And it's really more of a shot, not towards the kids or the student section of the band. It's the old heads, unfortunately. The fans that have been going there, they don't care how loud they are. They want to sit down and have a nice view. That's not these games. This isn't a Purdue team that's 0-10. This is someone that's a good team. Top 5 matchup, 10-0, undefeated.
Yeah.
Curt Cignetti came in. We had them. Obviously, we have Michigan. And it was kind of an interesting game going into the game for me. Not only was it a top 5 matchup, but in past years, other than the one MSU year when we dismantled them 49-0 in the first half.
Yeah.
Other than that, it feels very rare that we have as big of a game as we did today the week before Michigan. And I'm not saying it from the side of Alabama schedules Chattanooga and Clemson schedules the Citadel, but I'm saying usually it's lucked out where we get the Northwestern Purdue Maryland game this week, and it's very easy to look ahead. Very easy to look ahead. We have Michigan coming up this week. I think it helped having a better game because you obviously want to beat Michigan. That's obviously the first goal, but this was one you could not afford to look ahead for. We came in, played the game. Unbelievable job by the Ohio State Buckeyes. Unbelievable job. If 95% of this fan base can just accept that the first drive is not going to be good, I think the fan base would be completely happy. You just have to accept it. Go into the game and accept it. Here's my thought of reasoning.
How about
everyone wants to? Right. You want to start fast? Do you like starting fast? Right? Everybody does. Right? Does everybody? No. I'm gonna go through the text messages. Do you like starting fast? Yes or no? Yes. I do too. Okay. We started fast against Oregon, right?
Yes.
What happened?
We lost.
Okay, so then that's fine. I get it. Fluke plays, weird kicks. I understand
1 point loss.
Totally reasonable. Fine. 1 point loss happens, right? Everybody freaks out. 7-0 Indiana on the board. And I said in the chat, why is everyone worried? We did the same thing against Penn State. It was 10-0. We came back and beat them. Didn't give up an offensive touchdown.
So you were happy.
You were happy
of the way
you responded with. You responded with. I'm not talking about Penn State. I'm talking about today. This is bad today. Lo and behold, a 70-yard drive, 7-0 Indiana. Do you know the number on the next 8? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 drive combined yards.
What was it, Michael?
19. A net of 19 yards, 8 drives. They don't score till a garbage drive at the end of the fourth. They scored on their first and last possession. The defense was phenomenal.
It was.
Outside of Iggy fucking Tape his hands or something. Put the cast on him.
I'm done with him. I'm
done.
done. I do not want to see him
No. I don't know what's going on there. You want to talk about like nervous about starting? I'm not nervous about anything else except that guy. That's what I'm nervous about.
Yep,
because
I agree.
They had 35 yards on that drive that were him. That's what I'm nervous about. You want to start slow? I don't give a shit. You want to give up 30 yards and penalties? That's what's going to bother me more so than them just having a good first drive. Because now I'm starting to believe Jim Knowles lets them just throw whatever they think. Let them get their scripted plays out. Let them out. Let them get their scripted plays out.
That's fair.
I think that's what he does. And everybody was freaking out. Oh, I can't believe this happened. Fake turnovers. These turnovers don't count. We shouldn't have to rely on turnovers. No one's relying on turnovers. It's a part of the game. That's the truth. And if you don't believe that, you're like lying to yourself. And Boogs, shout out Boogs, for saying if turnovers mattered, Army would be winning the national championship. He said that. And lo and behold, because
you were like turnover differential.
What did I show? The stat. Who led the nation in turnover margin last year?
Army.
Michigan led the country in turnover margin. So yes, turnovers do matter. Those are most important part of the game. So Ohio State goes down 7-0.
It's an old
whatever.
argument.
You want to be mad? You want to be mad at the 3-0, the 3 and out on offense? Be mad about that.
Yeah,
that's bad. But I don't give a shit. Everyone, it's over. 7-0. It's over. Game's over. Might as well turn it off. Don't even watch the game. If you're gonna freak out over one 7-yard drive that happens like
every week to every team we play,
do you believe it's gonna be more than 7 points to beat us? Do you believe that?
Yes, but if I were to call up Ryan Day or Bill Belichick, any great coach or any person related to football, and I was like, hey, are you like, is it like a great start to a game to go 3 and out and then give up a touchdown like every single week? Like,
who's saying it's good?
That's tough.
I'm not saying it's good. You believe I'm saying it's good. I'm saying everybody and 95% of the fan base needs to realize that there's 3.5 quarters left. That's my argument. Not that it's good. No one's saying they want to be down 7-0.
Not a way to start.
No one's saying they want to be down 10-0. And what happens?
We figured it out so far, but those are 7 more points you got to get back.
Yeah. So again, do you believe do you believe more than 7 points? Do you believe 7 points will beat us?
No, I do not. But it can.
So
can it or no?
7 points
we're not talking about the SEC theoretical rankings. Like, theoretically, should Ohio State score more than 7 points in a game? Yes, theoretically they should.
So
but
why should 7 matter?
Do you want to be losing? Do you want to be losing?
Okay, let me ask you this.
This is a really dumb debate for you to defend.
Do you know what Ohio State is ranked in the nation in defense? Total defense. Do you know what they're ranked?
Like 2.
So what the hell are you worrying about one drive when we play 4 quarters? You know when that touchdown was? Do you know when it was?
The first quarter.
7:50 left in the quarter. Again, my argument is not that it's good to start slow. I'm anti-starting slow.
It's bad to start
95% of the fan base needs to realize that the game is 48 minutes, not 5.5. Is that a valid criticism?
Yes. However, I don't know why this is not a hill to die on, because objectively, just like not a recipe. Like, again, like, yeah, 7 points we should be able to overcome. But why? But like, why give it up? Like, we always give it up. Northwestern, Purdue, Western Michigan, I think, or Marshall went up. I think Marshall went up.
What were the scores of those games?
A lot to a little. But why do you want to give up more touchdowns? We're number 2 for a reason. We're not number 1. As a defense, you should want to.
They're giving up. They're playing bums. They're playing nobodies. We're in a real conference.
We're the Ohio State. But if you're not chasing perfection, I don't know what you're doing.
Ohio State. It's not chasing perfection. You guys are expecting. Like, let me ask you this: what if they gave up 7 to end the half and it was 14-14, but we started off hot?
I was gonna be pissed. I would have been pissed.
That's something to be mad about. Not 7-0 on their scripted plays that we didn't predict perfectly.
It's a bad way to start. That's all there is to it.
It's 90. So that's my argument. That's my last takeaway from the game. Fantastic offensive game. Fantastic defensive game. Slacks were awesome. Cody Simon, I love you. Lathan Ransom, you've perfected the peanut punch. Denzel Burke, didn't hear your name once. Good game. Yeah. Caleb Dow, awesome. Gus Johnson, I'm tired of hearing you say Alabama transfer. I honestly, we have guaranteed 2 more games left with them. If we win Saturday, we're in the Big Ten game. They call the Big Ten game. I hope we don't have Gus and Joel on the call for the rest of the season.
What happened? Because they used to like
Both
love
of them
us.
gone. I want them
They,
both gone.
they
And
both loved us. I don't know
they
what
were
happened.
loving us. They were loving us. It felt like a little more this Saturday on the call. Like they were
Yeah.
hyping us up, but they're A, boring. B, they make mistakes. C, half the time they're getting the players wrong. And it's one thing to be like, Jake Ferguson and Luke Schoonmaker, who was 87 and 86 on the Cowboys, who are both white guys. He said, great catch by G. Scott, and it was Will K. or Bennett Christian. It wasn't even G. Scott. And
Yeah.
I'm like, these guys are different skin colors. And I'm like, what the hell are you watching? So, like, there's that part. They're out of it. They're so boring. They're asleep on
They're
the call.
boring.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm like, this is boring. And everyone's like, oh, you shouldn't be mad. Like, Fox New kickoff is still good. No, it's not. Like,
No.
we want to be like,
we
in a
got commercial
real-
to
a real-
death this Saturday. Commercial
Yeah.
to death.
Oh my God. I also didn't know. I wasn't paying attention in the moment when Indiana called that timeout at the end of the first quarter. I thought that was the end of the first quarter. I didn't see them call the timeout.
Oh, it was so frustrating.
So they went to commercial, and I was like, all right, like end of the first, like let's go. And then they ran another play, and then they went to commercial
Went back
again. And I was like, what the hell? So I went on ESPN, and it was like timeout Indiana at the 8-second mark, and I was like, what the fuck? I was like,
7-0 Indiana at the first quarter, or was it 7-0
Indiana?
Yeah.
7-0.
So slow starts are 25% of the game at that point, Michael. That time really starts to add up.
It was our second drive.
Because they possess the ball. Letting teams go on long drives is not good.
They didn't do it anything after that. Everyone is so worried. If the game was one quarter, I think the fan base would break down. Ohio State
horrible.
is the
We'd
only.
be
Ohio State is the
unranked.
only school. Ohio State is the only school in the nation for everybody, fans, non-fans, analysts, that have to be up 35-0 at the end of the first for people to be happy. It is the most. I'm going to go out and say it. They're more toxic than Ohio State than the Cowboys fan base. That's right.
Yeah, because we actually have expectation.
The expectation is the same every year. You think Georgia's fans are freaking out? They're up 21-10 on UMass? No, they're going to say, oh, it's UMass. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Because guess what? They've been there. They've done that. That's how you know you're a good team, when your fan base doesn't have to worry in those games.
Sorry you don't want to dominate. I'm sorry you don't want to dominate.
What do you know about dominating? What do you know about dominating? You're upset 7-0.
Because we weren't. That's not dominating. That's why I'm upset.
We won by 23 points. Covered. A third. We're covering now almost every other game.
Every
like
other
I don't know
game?
what is.
Michael.
You know Oregon. You know Oregon has covered like 3-4 games all year. Do you know that?
Yeah, they were horrible at the beginning of the year.
Oh yeah, but
covering doesn't mean you're a great. Covering doesn't necessarily like.
Somehow half of that chat believes covering means it is. That's what I'm saying. The hypocrisy of half that chat. They want to choose when they're right and choose when they're wrong is bad. I think
I'm very consistent in my messaging.
Yeah,
starting slow is bad.
Yeah,
starting slow is bad.
And you're like, oh man, it's over. It's over. Michael's gonna say it's all good. Because guess what? We've been there before. Sorry, my class has seen Michigan win, so we know how good seasons work. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that I know how to handle this part of the season. I'm sorry.
This is the first time. We went down 7-0 to another top 5 team, and you're like, oh yeah, it's fine. Just saying, it's not good.
Was it fine or no?
It ended up being hindsight's 2020. If you're happy putting yourself in a 7-point hole every single game, we'll see how that works out for you. I would like to go up 7-0.
So that's the thing. I'm confident enough that it's going to take 7 points to beat us. You don't seem like you're confident enough to say 7. You think 7 points is going to beat us. That's what it seems like. When you complain about starting slow, that's what it sounds like, right?
I don't know why you are so much dying on the hill of like starting slow is fine.
Because
it ends up being fine.
It's fine. I'm not saying it's fine. I'm saying the faith in our fans is pathetic to not believe we can score 7 points.
Fair criticism.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I keep saying. That was my only argument from the beginning. I'm not saying going slow is bad. I'm saying it's okay. You're going to be fine. We're Ohio State Buckeyes. 95% of the fans don't believe we're going to score 7 points. That's what that tells me.
I think you're being very reductive and you're being very reductive and difficult right now. If they go up 7-0 and then say stop us on the goal line on the next drive. So at the end of the first quarter against a theoretical team.
We're playing hypotheticals now. I'm not playing hypotheticals. My hypothetical is Yes, I know for a fact we're going to score more than 7 points. That's
You
not
don't.
hypothetical. That's a fact.
No, it's
Really?
not.
How many games have we scored less than 7 this year?
0 in probably the last 50 plus years. But it's
Oh,
not a fact until it is. But they could also score more. Why would you want to go down? Like, you're like, oh, I
They
love
can't score
going
more.
down.
It's a top 5. It's a top 5 matchup. I'd be very
This
concerned
is such
if
a
they didn't score more
stupid
than
argument.
10.
This is you're being dumb. You're being
I'm
very
being
dumb.
a loyal fan. You're being the overreactionary fan that gets upset 7-0 at the 7-minute mark.
At 7-0 to Northwestern, Nebraska, Purdue. I don't know if it was Purdue. Marshall. Like, yeah, it's
How'd
fine.
those games end?
Why
How did
would
all
you?
those games end?
Why would you want like?
How did all of them end?
Is it a criticism
No
that we
one's
start
saying
slow?
you believe. I'm saying it's good. I haven't said it's good once. I said everyone. My original statement was if 95% of the fans can just accept that we might go down 7-0 and relax. That was my first sentence.
I don't want to accept that. I don't want to go down 7-0. You're supposed to be the number 2 defense in the country.
You're right. Nobody ever gives up any points. We should be giving up 0 every single game. It's totally reasonable.
The Bears start slow every week. Are the Bears good?
The Bears suck.
Because they don't score.
Because they have okay, let me ask you this. Would you say the Bears are consistently in the same position as Ohio State? Do you think the Bears have had any recent success that would lead you to believe you trust the Bears at the same level you trust the Ohio State Buckeyes?
No, but they never score in the first quarter, and they're very bad.
Would you compare them?
There's a correlation to how you start games.
There's a difference between going down 7-0 and being down in the first quarter. Today, the Bears led at the end of the first quarter, first lead in the first quarter all season.
All year.
Mm-hmm. This was not the first time Ohio State was down at the end of the first quarter. We've been down once, maybe twice at the end of the first. We've been up at every half. And also for anybody listening that wants my free betting advice, you want to bet on something?
Bet on Ohio State in the first quarter.
Ohio State third quarters. We've given up less than 20 points.
It's like it's a massive, massive point spread for Ohio State in the third quarter. Coming out of the half, also very important.
And we're dominant at it.
Yeah, we're not dominant at starting a game, and that is a critique that I have.
Okay, well, they're the best team in the nation right now, basically, the way they're playing, and we're just picking at something to pick at something because we can't be happy about.
I didn't expect you to come at my neck like that, to be honest. So we've spent way longer.
You know it's true. You know it's true.
I am not backing down from my point that we start slow, and that's bad.
It's bad, but it should not be a concern.
Caleb Downs, I love you. Ryan Day, I'm so happy they scored late in the game. Like, that was such fuck you touchdown. And anyone who's crying about that, shut the fuck up. Indiana's been doing that all year.
I just saw it. They've done it 3 times this year.
Yeah, they beat Nebraska by I think 56-7 and scored with like a minute left.
49-0 with a minute 30 left. They scored again.
Yeah. He talked his shit all year. No lie, Curt Cignetti has him in the right direction. They're going to get a lot of recruits.
I actually like him.
He's going to stick around. But the way that they kind of I don't know, they got fucking bullied out of the stadium, and it was very great to watch. All the Indiana fans, crawl back in your hole and die, please. Will the thrill. That was sweet. I playing fuck you football at the end of November is good shit, and I'm very excited about it.
I still wish they let Travion score.
I agree, but that's just smart play by a veteran guy. And then Ryan Day was probably like, "Go get it, boys." But what was I gonna say? I don't know. Will Howard's sick. I'm very happy
I was gonna say, good game for Emeka.
Yeah,
he finally got involved again.
He looked very
Jeremiah
good,
almost felt like a decoy.
Is he hurt, or are people just speculating based on the Northwestern leg pull?
I think that's what they're speculating, but I don't think he was hurt, to be honest. It didn't look like he was like limping around. He was making
every time they
catches,
gave him the ball, he was like nuts. Like he was.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they may have thought like maybe just because like getting him loose, but I think it was maybe just they probably had their better guy on him because he's the one. Like so.
Yeah, they were probably like definitely.
Mm-hmm. I think that the defense was phenomenal. The blitzes were great at the time. Rourke is not good. It was very much. It felt like watching us versus Penn State last year. I know Penn State, that wasn't the same score. It was closer last year against Penn State, but it almost felt like Drew Aller when we were watching Drew Aller and we were like, they just
look lost. Like maybe some over the middle stuff every once in a while. And really, at least from like the handful of film on Indiana that I had watched, he does a lot of things right. Like when he has protection, like they call good plays, they just dink and dunk down the field, and like his arm talent's not crazy, nor are their receivers. So it's not like they're going over the top on people left and right. But when you have no time and you're just outmatched at every single position, like they're a well coached, well run team, but they had nowhere to win on Saturday. Like we were better than them at everywhere.
I agree with everything you said and being like well coached, but it almost felt like come 21-7 after the punt return, it almost felt like they were like, let's just try not to lose by a lot.
Yeah, I think that may have been the game plan. And
what happened there? Like they didn't punt for it on 4th and 1. Like they punted that one and they didn't go for it. And then now it's 31-7 or 31-7. And then they start like airing it out, playing in motion, like quarterback runs. Like it was like a whole different offense. And I was like, it looked, to be honest, the last drive, they looked better in my opinion than the first drive because they got down there so much with penalties in the first drive. Mm-hmm. I was like, what is this playbook? Like, are we airing it out now down 30? Like just hoping that the committee like will just see the score and be like, oh, 31-15. It was 2-score game. Like, like I just thought it was really poor coaching, to be honest with you.
Yeah, their offense, like I think we got on their ass early, and they did say that the crowd had a lot to do with it, with like the crowd noise and
crowd was awesome. Crowd was awesome.
So that's sweet. I know Big Noon Kickoff filters out the crowd noise, so all those watching on TV that said Ohio Stadium sucks, the boys are out to play on Saturday.
Yeah, it sounded like it.
I don't know. I agree with you. I think in a lot of ways they tried not to lose, especially like going for 2 at the end of the game. What was there? Like 2 minutes left? Like that was bullshit. Like that's why I'm so happy that Will Howard scored at the end.
And they onside kicked it. Like they were still going. Like you wouldn't have onside kicked it. You wouldn't have gone for 2 if you didn't believe like, oh, what if? Like you're playing for what ifs in that scenario. So it was shocking. They were like so upset and like. Obviously Will went crazy, like Google me or Google that, and then put out the SIG, which was crazy. Yeah. But good win, awesome. And the best part about the win, I thought, was the mentality. Literally, like right after Carmen, Ohio, they came into the locker room, they did their song together, "Our Honor Defend." Mm-hmm. They danced for a little. As soon as the media was let in, it felt like today's game or yesterday's game. It felt like the game like didn't even happen.
Yeah.
They shifted gears so fast, and I love that, and I hope the fans are shifting gears as fast. Like, I saw that as soon as they won, the announcers, like, put on the PA, like, congratulations to Ohio State Buckeyes for advancing to 10-1. Next week's game is against that team up north, and then, boom, they switched the, like, camera of the field, and they turned it off, and they put the countdown clock there immediately. And then as soon as the media was let into the locker room, Jack Sawyer was like, yeah, I would love to sit and gloat, but we have no time to even talk about this. Like, we're focusing on the next game. This is why we came back. Will Howard's like, this is why we're here. This is why we're playing these games, etc. Awesome. Way better leader than how McCord did it last year. It's just a regular game. He came in, and it seems to me, we're going to shift gears now. Obviously, great win against Ohio State for Indiana. Top 5 win. Another one for Ryan Day. But it seems to me, looking ahead, that yes, a lot of these guys, I don't know. Maybe it is true, or maybe I'm wrong. But the way they've all talked in their interviews and everything they've talked about, in my opinion, it sounds like, yes, they want to win the game. Yes, they want to win for each other. Yes, they want to win for the guys who came back. Mm-hmm. But it almost feels like they're so unified. Every person has said, like, we're doing this for Coach Day. Like, the vile things people have said about him over the last year, over the last 24 months, like, we want to get this so badly for him. And like, I don't know, maybe they've said that in the past and I've missed it, but it feels like it's a very new motto that like they're doing this a lot. They want Coach J to succeed.
This is definitely brand new. And the way Jack Sawyer said it, I thought was very interesting. Known Jack Sawyer hater over here. He's had some like big plays over here, but we're not high on Jack Sawyer all the time.
Had a big game this week.
He did. But the way he said, like, man, and again, like, obviously, like, when was the last time the Buckeyes went 0-3 against Michigan? Like, all things considered, the last 3 11-1 seasons are dark days in Columbus, which I know is so, like, funny to say to the average football fan. But it's the hardest place to be. Like, the coach of the Ohio State Buckeyes, one of the hardest places to be. I can't imagine being at, like, Alabama or Georgia is much easier. I know, like, not DeBoer, but Kirby has the rings to back it up for at least for now. But But yeah, I cannot imagine it's been fun to be Ryan Day. Like he's, I think, moved to like 66-9 all time as a Buckeye. Like one of the best coaches in the country for sure. And like
And that's
everyone,
I think that's with everything, like with bowl games, with
yeah,
losses, like
yeah,
not
definitely.
like
And people are trying to run him out of town, myself included at times. Like, yeah, you
yeah.
want to get that for him. Like, he has probably like not had a great time. It's always about that. It's always going to be about that until it's not. And this is obviously a great opportunity to go and like shut down the noise. Obviously, people are going to say it's like it's a very different team. Like, it's obviously not the marquee matchups we've seen out of that game in the past. But fuck it, it's 23.5-point spread right now. Let's win by 50.
I don't think that. Yeah, I mean, I would love to cover, but these games never really end with games like that. Very rarely does a game end like that.
Yeah.
Rivalry week, tough game. Benefit for us, I believe. I think their offense, to be honest, I feel like has looked a little better. I know everyone's like saying that on Twitter, but like Northwestern's Northwestern. Like I'm not. They were like we put up 50 on Northwestern. Ohio State only put up 31. Like who cares? Like to me, that doesn't matter at all.
Yeah.
But the offense has looked a little better. But for me, their biggest concern is the guy already got announced. Unless something massive changes, Will Johnson isn't playing next week.
Yep. Top corner.
Will Johnson is out next week. They will have Graham. He'll play in Loveland. But for us to succeed, we have to get the pressure. We have to stop the run. I think, in past years, I would say the biggest worry is that someone breaks through and gets a big run. I don't want to like jinx it. I'm not going to say anything crazy, but I do believe that Caleb Downs is the guy for the job to stop the extended run. He's incredible, and he's incredible in open space. So I hope that continues, but it's going to be a big game. I hope this is a game where we come out and we look hype. I know we like obviously we're just arguing about it with like how it sucks to start slow, but one thing I did notice in this game, and I did notice in the Penn State game, and I did notice in the Oregon game, in the biggest moments when all of the fan base is nervous and the teams are battling for spots, every time the camera was on Will Howard, he's hyping up the crowd and he's yelling with the team, he's hyping up the team, and it shows that like leader ability that I really don't like. I think CJ was great. I think that was awesome. But CJ didn't get the big win against Michigan. He played great. So many big games, just never.
Yeah.
And it honestly feels a little more like when Justin was here. That like mindset. Justin felt like the way Justin talked was like, we're better than you. We're going to do this. Moops mentioned it this weekend, like that video of him in the locker room, hyping up the team. Like there's stuff like that where you feel that talking about Fields and Howard. And to me, that's very impressive. So I hope they go in. Let's fucking please, we're all going. Please win the game. Like, please win the game.
Not worried. It's going to be a great time. More wrong-siders in person. But the rest of the college football playoff world has obviously devolved into pure madness. For those of you saying, and Michael and I were talking about this before we started recording, the 12-team playoff is a fucking mess right now. At first, it was looking good. Oh, there's so many teams to look at. Everyone in the SEC is going to be 10-2. You had 5 losses in the top 25 this week, most of which from the SEC. Lot. The Big 12 is in shambles as it's been in the past. So, like, definitely the Big Ten championship game is pretty much set with Ohio State large favorites over Michigan this weekend. Oregon's already locked in. If Ohio State somehow loses, I think it'd be Penn State that goes into the Big Ten championship game. So the bracket's becoming clearer. At the moment, SEC, we'll talk about what happened over this past weekend, but SEC is going to be Georgia versus the winner of Texas A&M. That is in A&M, I believe, right?
I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Kyle Field. Yeah.
Kyle Field. Yes. So don't know the line on that game off the top of my head right now, but Texas A&M, first year in the SEC.
I saw that Quinn actually is hurt.
He is.
Like bad. Like he's getting an MRI. Like it's like not good.
Yeah, I saw that today. They still have Arch, so like hopefully that time playing during the season is going to pay dividends for them now. But talk about the game on the line. I think that's really for it all here. I don't know their records either, but A&M's lost a couple bad losses to South Carolina and others. Texas obviously sitting at number 3. A lot on the line here to either not make the playoff at all, especially for A&M with all those losses. Texas could still sneak in with a close loss, and then Texas A&M will take their chance against Georgia.
Yeah, I would think A&M has to potentially win out. Yeah.
A&M would likely need to win the SEC championship to win at this point. So beating Texas and then Georgia there. But Bama got smoked by Georgia. What else happened? Ole Miss lost to Florida 17-24. The Swamp was bumping. A lot of chaos. The
First time I
SEC.
think since 2008.
Wow, that's actually insane. Now, Michael, let me ask you this. Is the SEC battle tested or worn out?
I think they're just all good. Some are good,
No.
some are
No.
okay. I think they're not battle tested. I think they're worn out because there's not all elite teams. They're not they all play each other. Like yeah, like I'm like I don't understand. Like it's the weirdest. Like I would usually say that the SEC has like three teams that like are elite. You can tell they're elite. You
Yeah.
can. But then you watch like Georgia, and they're one of the elite teams this year, I think, and they're bipolar. One game, Carson Beck looks like he's uh, Nathan Peterman, and the other game he's Aaron Rodgers. Like I don't get it. And then Bama, like Milrow looks incredible one week, and then he looks like he forgets to throw a football the next week.
Yeah.
And then you look at like A&M, they've been kind of firing on defense, and they give up 43 points to Auburn this week. And Jackson Dart, he's been a mess. And Florida's put together a nice 5-5 season, surprisingly. Like
I think they got their sixth win this year. This week, I think was bowl eligibility.
Oh, okay.
Which was they had the hardest schedule of the country.
Like
they
ever.
played everyone in the SEC, like all those great teams. So
So,
shout
like,
out Florida, yeah.
That's the thing. Like, there's certain ways of measuring, like, if you're a certain team winning, like, success in college football, I think is important because, like, in my opinion, it's different because, like, if you win a Rose Bowl and that's not a playoff game, like, a Rose Bowl is still a massive success, especially if you're a X program. Like, I remember when we played Utah a few years ago in the Rose Bowl, it was Utah's first time ever in the Rose Bowl. They lost, obviously, to Ohio State. But, like, that was a big deal to them. Getting to the Rose Bowl was a big deal to that program because they never really had experienced that. So there's, like, certain levels of winning where I think are big. Like, the Florida, I think, is a perfect example. But other than that, like, the SEC just beats up on each other. Like, every other conference, it happens. And very rarely do you see the top teams in other conferences lose like this. It happens. It feels like the SEC happens. It happens every year. It's like, oh, because the SEC is just so deep, top to bottom. Like, no, they're not. Like, they have stinkers.
For sure. I don't know though.
So,
like there was definitely a time where Ohio State was losing to Purdue and losing to Iowa and Urban was here and other stuff like that. But I don't know, especially lately, like Georgia went back to back. They were clearly the best team in college football, both sides of the ball. I mean, now it's weird because they haven't lost that many players. Still got Carson Beck at quarterback, and now they're bipolar. So it's definitely kind of a drop off for them. But like Alabama is clearly it's year one with Kalen DeBoer, so like still like relatively successful, but definitely some regression so far.
There.
Yeah, I mean,
trouble there.
Talk about not a hot seat quite yet, but talk about a tough place to like not be meeting expectations. Tuscaloosa.
It's just it's very tough to be the guy after.
Oh,
like, yeah. It's very tough. Like it's like Belichick's gone, so now Mayo is getting like looked at. Like I saw a thing today, like he's on the hot seat already for New England. Like, is he on the hot seat? Like they started, like they had just got a new quarterback and they just started. Like, is he just? It's tough to be Bill Belichick's replacement.
Yeah.
Kalen DeBoer, it's tough to be Nick Saban's replacement. Even Ryan Day, who's been a lot better than people think. It's tough to be Urban Meyer's replacement. Like that's where it's like. So I think there's like that side of it, but a lot of chaos in the SEC. The ACC, SMU clinched versus Miami with a win on Saturday, or if Miami loses, Clemson's in. The Mountain West is almost set. Boise's in. UNLV with a win, and the American Athletic Tulane versus Army is set for the championship. It's going to be a wild finish, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I don't really know what's going to happen. In the Big 12, I don't know if we hit on that one either. I think next week, if they win and in, it's Arizona State versus Iowa State. They both win next week. They're both in. I think it would be very tough, in my opinion, to get – because right now, Boise State has one of the byes.
Yeah.
It would be very tough for me to give Boise State the bye. Boise State is – 10-1 on the laurels of they have a 3-point overtime loss to Oregon, which is completely fair.
Yeah.
Completely fair. That being said, they barely escaped 2-9 Wyoming. The week before, or 2 weeks, they were in a tough game against San Jose State into the fourth. They need to come out and pummel these teams, in my opinion, to get that bye. I'm not saying they don't deserve to be in the playoff. I think they're a good enough team to be in the playoff. But if Arizona State comes streaming back in and goes 10-2, beats Iowa State, they've had some huge wins, beats BYU, a top 15 team, it would be tough for me to see them not get that bye. It might happen. It still might happen. And the more I keep looking at the bracket and the more the chaos has happened, in my opinion, I think Ohio State, realistically, there's a very good chance they're one if they win, obviously. Like if they win out, they're going to be the 1 seed.
Mm-hmm.
If they were to lose to Oregon, I would still not be shocked if they were the 5. I really wouldn't be.
In terms of seeding, because at least how they've done the bracket the last couple weeks is they have like what the theoretical bracket looks like, but it doesn't always match with the seeding.
It's not 1-1, 2-2. It's 3.
It's Ohio State's number 2 overall, but they're the number 5 seed based on the structure of the bracket. And I don't think there's any other way to cut it unless there's some ridiculous SEC thing that happens where like Georgia loses a close SEC championship game and we get. But then again, I'm not saying that'd be justified.
Yeah. I'm saying, but then again, it's like 3 losses. Like the only way I could see it happening maybe is like if they believe if you believe wins and losses are a determinant of ranking, that's where I wouldn't see it happening. In a sense of if we lost to Oregon, there's a chance we could be punished because Notre Dame is 11-1, let's just say.
Oh, that would make me so upset.
Penn State is 11-1. They both have 1 loss. We have 2, but we beat Penn State and they would be ahead of us. Or Notre Dame, they lost to Northern Illinois. That was where it would really suck.
That would suck a lot. And I know that's already been talked about, especially in the SEC, where everyone is so even with a couple losses that people may get punished for playing in the championship game. But yeah, on the other side of that coin, why the 12-team playoff is great, Texas A&M is in a position to win out, beat 2 of the best teams in the country in Texas and Georgia over the next 2 weeks, and play their way into a bye in the playoffs. So my comment to what you said about Boise State, though I could agree with you that like they haven't necessarily blown teams out of the water. Penn State just escaped Minnesota 26-25. There's been a lot of other close games in the SEC. So
but the
ranking isn't great. There's kind of a difference. Like Texas has no good wins this year. They beat Michigan, which was a win at the time. They shouldn't be 3, but they've been winning. But at this point, with how much the other conferences have cannibalized itself, don't get mad at Boise State for everything else.
Yeah, I agree. You're absolutely right. It's a very fair point. Boise State's only controlling Boise State, but that's why I kind of mentioned when we were going through the championships. Like in my opinion, the Tulane Army game is also very important. If UNLV comes out and wins the rematch, let's just say against Boise State, I would think Boise State's season's over. And if Tulane wins against Army, Tulane would probably be the highest ranked group of 5 team, and they would get the bye.
Oh, that's juicy.
That's why it's important. That's why there's an important wrinkle. There's an important wrinkle in all this. Boise State needs to win out, in my opinion, to get in. I don't think Boise State is in at 10-2 with a loss in the Mountain West game. It's not like they're going to put UNLV in for Boise State because it's not. It's whoever is the highest group of 5 champion right now. Boise State's, this is AP poll, so I'm going to put that out there. The college football poll hasn't been announced yet. It'll be out by the time this is recorded, or posted. But the thing that's something to watch is Boise State is 11, Tulane is 18, and UNLV is 21. So in this situation, let's say Tulane goes out and gets the AAC or whatever, the American Athletic Conference Championship. Let's say they do. The thing with that is if they win and UNLV beats Boise State, that would be very interesting to see if they would rank the Boise State or the UNLV win over Boise State or the Tulane win over Navy. Something to think about.
At that point, though, if there's an upset there, where's is Iowa State ranked or no?
Iowa State is ranked, but Iowa State wouldn't matter. Iowa State's a Big 12 team.
But they currently aren't listed as one of the top 4.
Arizona State is ahead of Iowa State right now. So if Arizona State were to win out and win the Big 12 and Boise State were to lose, they would have the Group of 5 team wouldn't get the bye. If Boise State loses either game, the Group of 5 is not getting a bye.
Yeah. Agreed.
But if Boise State keeps winning, there's a good chance they get the bye.
Yeah. Shout out to Arizona State. It's kind of coming out of nowhere. I know they're not nationally covered, but
Yeah,
Hell yeah.
Cam Scatterbo, the running back, he's insane. I mean, the football was great this weekend. It was an awesome Saturday.
Yeah.
Kansas, Devin Neal, keep an eye out for him in the draft. I think he's going to be incredible for Kansas. He's a senior. He's stuck it out. They toasted Colorado. It looked like Colorado of old,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Colorado's season is basically over right now. I don't want to say it's fully over because I think there is a scenario with like some losses and some wins. They're into the Big 12 game with a chance for the Big 12 game. And then if they win the Big 12 game, they're in. I don't know. Then if that's the situation, if that were to happen, let's just say, then the Mountain West or American Athletic Conference would have the bye, and Big 12 would not have the bye. But a lot of good football left. A lot of important football left, in my opinion.
Very.
This next week will give us a good clarity, I think, how the committee ranks. And then looking ahead, like Ohio State comes out, takes care of Michigan. Like that's going to be a dogfight in Indianapolis against Oregon if they can get there after this week. Like, but we got to take care of goal number one. Beat your rival, take care of goal number one.
We're looking forward to it. But moving over to the NFL, recording this Sunday at 8:17, so Sunday Night Football has just kicked off. Hell of a noon slate. I'm wearing my Bears Sell the Team shirt. It's my dad's birthday today, so I was hanging with the family.
Shout out Papa Z.
Shout out Papa Z. Birthday present from him to me. He's a Lions fan, especially over the last couple of years, of course. But who gives a shit if we're watching the Bears at this point? I said the boycott was on. The boycott is on. Before I get into the actual games, did you see that George McCaskey was walking through the parking lot before the game?
No.
He was down there with the people interacting with – he was walking the tailgates is what the article was saying from one of the Chicago guys. But there's a video of him. Like, people are chanting Fire Flues. Fire Flues like, I know. Like, I think he said, I know. So – honestly, shout out him for taking it on the chin and like trying to see what it's all about. It's really that's maybe the least tone deaf thing to actually get out there and walk where the people walk. To try
I like
and
that. I like that.
Get a semblance of something. I liked it too. Unfortunately, we'll start with the Bears because I don't have too much. Unfortunately, it did end in another different kind of heartbreaking loss for Matt Eberflus's Chicago Bears. 27-24 in overtime. Bears led at the end of the first quarter for the first time all year. Caleb Williams with his third 300-yard game of the season, which is a Bears rookie record. Justin Fields has had 2 300 yards games in his entire career. Not that it's a competition, but Caleb Williams is clearly the guy.
But he's better.
He's clearly the guy. This was the answer the whole time. If anyone is still trying to have a conversation about the quarterback in Chicago, they're really non-ball knowers. I'm saying it now. Like any negative words about Caleb Williams, blocked. You're done. Off my phone. Family, friends, I don't care. It's a time for Thanksgiving. Caleb Williams is the guy. If you disagree, you're gone. More than election, more than politics conversations at the table, I'm defending Caleb Williams at the table this year.
Wow.
Saw Matt Eberflus's soft defense. They pay for it again. They were practically playing on their heels the whole time at the end of the game and into overtime. We know what this season is. Another great showing by Caleb Williams. Good steps from the offense. Who knows where Thomas Brown's going to be at the end of the year? Some people are already calling him the next head coach of the Bears. I would love to see them get a guy who actually I think that's plainly ridiculous, but it seems to be firing a lot more with him. So one week closer to Flus getting fired and Caleb Williams is the guy. Same story. Good day for the Bears.
I think Thomas Brown, that's his name, right? Thomas Brown.
Mm-hmm.
I would say I don't think he should be the head coach of the Bears at all.
Fuck no.
But I definitely think he's coaching for his life right now, not with the Bears, but in just his livelihood. I think he's showing that he's a good guy. He's a good guy at the helm. You can run with Caleb Williams and get this offense going. Like the offense is good. They look like they're running. He's getting the ball out quick. The scheme looks good. Like he can only do so much. He can't block out there. Like the fans can't block out there. So like he's doing
another blocked kick. Another blocked kick.
It's okay. Cowboys had one block kick and miss and blocked punt. But yeah, I mean they look. It was. I saw Big Cat's tweet. It would seem like a perfect Sunday again. Like not perfect, but like the best it can be. Like lost. Eberflus, another game closer to being fired, and Caleb. He looks like I say that video today of him at scramble to DeAndre Swift. I was watching it live. Incredible play by Caleb. Like truly remarkable. It's tough to see that. You love seeing that with like veterans, and you see it all the time with veterans. First year player, bad line, incredible play.
Yeah, he's sweet. I honestly wouldn't be shocked if he has actually one of the craziest arms I've ever seen in my life. So hopefully,
very talented.
Very talented. So, exciting there. Nothing else there from me.
Montez Sweat got a sack, first one in a while. But I saw, so tough game. But again, like that's now was the Commanders the last game before Green Bay? No, it was the disaster against New England.
Commanders, Cardinals, Patriots, Packers.
Oh, I thought there was something. Either way,
Oh, it's
whatever.
been a hellish month,
whatever.
Michael. You don't know.
Whatever. Commanders game, the Packers game, and this one, three game tying, game winning drives. He put them in that position. Like very impressive. I thought like I don't know if you saw it. Did you see the throw he made to get to the field goal?
Oh yeah, that was a rope. That was a laser.
Awesome throw as well. So like there's great development there. So I really like that. But agreed. It's tough because don't know how much.
Tell the team.
Don't know how much.
Tell the team.
But other than that, headed up to the nation's capital this week. What a disaster! I was not happy.
NFC Beast.
Happy. Cowboys come out, beat the Commanders by 8. I'm pretty sure, or 7, 27. Yeah. The stat of the day, in my opinion, is the guys who had the over in the Commanders-Cowboys game. I don't know who had it. I'm not saying like anybody specific. Like I'm not saying like, oh, like shout out this person, he had the over.
Mm-hmm.
But the over under was set. So the Cowboys were 10.5-point dogs to begin with, if you didn't know.
I have to tell you something. I had Commanders spread.
So did I. I took them in my pickup.
Okay.
I took them in my pickup. The over under was 44.5. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I felt like those are tough. That means the Cowboys needed to get at least 14. That was my thought process.
Mm-hmm.
Final score was 34-26, 60 points. They slam dunked the over. At the half, it was 3-3.
I was playing against Jaden Daniels in fantasy, and I was like, this is chilling. And I looked later, and he had like 35 points. So what the hell happened?
6 points. 6 points. So I don't know what happened. The defense played incredibly hard. One of the better games. They played 3 quarters of elite football. Elite football, in my opinion. Like, very good football. Mm-hmm. It was then Commanders scored to start the third quarter, like a few minutes in the third quarter. Jaden Daniels rushing touchdown. And then Austin Seibert missed an extra point. So he missed that extra point to make it 9-3. Okay?
Oh, God. Uh-huh.
Then Cowboys drive down the field. Next drive, touchdown, 10-9. Next drive, stop. Cowboys field goal, 13-9. Cowboys touchdown, 20-9. They drive down, 3 minutes left. They score, 20-17. Then the Turpin ridiculous return. I don't know if you saw that. The Turpin return touchdown.
Absurd.
What a fucking play. That was like tough to be like upset about. It was almost like tough to be upset about. Because like,
oh yeah, for any,
I don't know.
It's just like, oh my God, yeah.
So then it's 27-17. We kick off. They get a field goal.
That's 44 right there.
Yeah. So but I'm saying like we ran back the touchdown, and I was like, all right, like they're gonna win, like whatever. Then they got the field goal, 27-20, and they scored the Jaden Daniels touchdown to tie it up. I was like, holy crap, what a freaking play. And I'll be honest to everybody listening, not a big Jaden Daniels fan. Felt like the slobber has been pretty heavy this year.
Yeah.
He's kind of not shown up in big games. They still haven't beaten someone with a winning record. A. B, they've won like 2 games without a touchdown, like all field goals. And yep. C, like he's good. He plays really good game manager, but he's not like dominating. Like he turns it on like crazy. And Seibert missed again. He missed another extra point. 27-26. Then the Cowboys go down. They do a onside kick. They field the onside kick. They run it in instead of just going down stupid. Ended up winning. No Hail Mary. It was one of the drunkest Cowboys games I've ever watched.
Yeah.
To me, it was truly remarkable. I couldn't believe what I was watching. I really couldn't. I was so in shock that was happening. I was so upset. I've been rooting for losses. I want to tank. I want to be in the top 5. This is really bad. And now we're gonna beat New York on Thursday. I know it. Because New York looks horrible with DeVito. They look miserable. And Micah's like, we're not tanking. We're going for it. So now we're gonna be at like 15-20, like right outside the teams that don't make the play. Like we're not going to be in the playoffs, but like in the draft order, that's where we're going to be, right before the teams that make the playoffs.
Been there. Spent a lot of time there myself.
Oh my God, it's not good. It is not good. Now, I did have a naughty dream that they drafted Emeka at like 17 today, like middle of the day.
It wouldn't be bad. I wonder where he's projected to go right now. I feel like
He's
it's been
first
kind of all
round,
over the place.
like late first round, but we'll
17
see.
may be a little high. Trey Harris got hurt, the Ole Miss receiver who's supposed to be.
Yeah,
I think
did see
it's
that.
like, yeah. So I don't know what his actual injury is, but
Emeka,
he's a lunch pail guy, so I think he'd be a great addition to the team.
Absolutely.
But maybe,
but I don't know what to say about the Cowboys. I don't know what to say. I root for them to win, they lose. I root for them to lose, they win. I don't know.
Maybe it is us. Maybe we need to stop saying wrong side and be right side.
And Cooper didn't even play that bad today, I thought. He played well. Rico looked very fresh in the first half. Let me look. I don't know what he finished at, but he had one fumble, which was a bummer. But he was 19 for 86, 4.5 yards a carry.
Yeah.
Pretty good in my opinion. CD had 10 catches for 67 yards. He's like out routes. But I don't know. It's always nice to beat someone in your division, but it almost like makes you think like, why did we just do that?
Yeah, especially because the Commanders are like definitely a playoff team. So you're like, okay, why are we beating playoff teams and like shit in the bed everywhere else? Was this a homer? This was an away game, so still no wins at home.
Yeah, still no wins at home. Road Warriors, they were calling us Road Warriors.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know, but Cowboys win, move to 4-7, and the Bears are what, 4-8, 4-9,
4-8, 4 and something.
It's gonna be a lot.
We had such good expectations this year too.
I was actually I was yelling when Cowboys were scoring. Like, I can't believe I was rooting against them, but like I was still wearing the gear. I was still rooting for them to score. Like, nothing was changing. I don't know. I'm sick. I'm sick in the head. Like,
it's a problem.
My other NFL 2 topics real quickly. Wrong side for CJ Stroud. He Orlovsky'd, ran out of the back of the end zone for a safety, lost the Texans the game. Also, incredible first half, horrible second half. 2 bad picks, lost the safety, made it down 5. They gave the ball away. Titans won. Titans beat them.
That's crazy. To lose the game is tough.
Way worse. And Bryce Young played very well against Kansas City. Kansas City, I saw today. I think are they 10-1? I think that's right. 10-1.
Yeah,
they're 10-1, and they're 2-9 against the spread.
Yeah, they're just really. I don't know what they're up to. That was only
crazy.
a 3-point game to end is insane.
Yeah,
Panthers put 11.
They tied it up.
Fourth quarter.
They tied it up, and then they wanted a walk-off field goal.
I did not see all that. That's wild. Yeah, everyone was saying that was the biggest trap game in the history of trap games. So I guess they covered. So some people probably still got it, but a lot of people probably still had Carolina outright. But I mean,
and next week, Kansas City has Desmond Ridder and the Raiders. Gardner Minshew broke his collarbone. I mean, they got some tough games left. But
what about AOC?
I couldn't believe that.
Where's AOC at?
I guess they went with Desmond Ridder today after Gardner got hurt.
Yikes! Stevenson High School alumni AOC.
But NFL, but a crazy witching hour. A lot of crazy moments. Chiefs, Cowboys, Bears. The Niners got dismantled by the Packers, and Sunday Night Football is going on right now, and we have the battle of the Harbaughs on Monday night tomorrow. So definitely a good watch. It'll be a good game.
Yeah.
So very cool. But wrapping up now, before we go to Outside the Line, we're going to break for our ad read and clutch moment of the week.
Our clutch moment of the week is brought to you by Shore Metals, serving Southern California since 1970. Big enough to serve you and small enough to know you. See Stan, he'll help you out. Mike, who is your clutch moment of the week?
Clutch moment of the week goes out to friend of the program, Matt Brown. He came on the show a few months back, one of our first big interviews. He was giving us the ins and outs of EA college football, NCAA football, the video game. Shout out to him, Clutch Moment of the Week. Extra Points, we advertised it before. That's his online service of his articles. He talks about sports, the insides and outs of the NIL deals, a lot of stuff with the video game. Very informative site. Shout out to him, Clutch Moment, because he held the inaugural Extra Points Ball in Canton, Ohio at the Hall of Fame Stadium this weekend.
Let's go.
Between the Marietta Pioneers and the Westminster Titans. Excellent D3 football teams. A great game. Very cool. I saw some videos on his Instagram and his Twitter practicing flipping the coin, him and his family there in their jackets. Very cool moment. So shout out Matt Brown, Extra Points Bowl, clutch moment of the week.
Hall of Fame Stadium. That's awesome. Shout out Matt Brown, friend of the program. My clutch moment of the week is a little bit off the football field and into the business world, and it is the holiday season to circle back after the new year. I know Michael has some grievances with this that he'll speak to here in a moment, but I'm now in my new role. I'm definitely more in kind of like the sales and marketing vibe of things. Everybody's shutting down for the new year practically. It's slow. It's giving me a good opportunity to kind of get my sea legs under me in the new job, but really stress-free for the time being, not worried for the most part. A couple fire drills here and there for salespeople trying to hit their quotas for the end of the year and whatnot, but we're chilling. We're chilling right now, and it's good. It's a good.
I think it's a very good clutch moment of the week. I'm not saying that. My only complaint with it was the circling back after the new year. We're not going on Christmas break. We're going on Thanksgiving break. There's still 3 weeks of business before
some
Christmas.
People are circling back.
Which is why I was like, when you told me that, I was like, that doesn't sound like it's the right time for that because it's Thanksgiving. But completely fair. If people are going on vacation early, it makes your life easier. Gets to go to the holidays a lot easier. So circle back after the new year, and friend of the program, Matt Brown, clutch moment of the week. Now to Outside the Line. Now wrapping up with Outside the Line, starting it off, best segment in the show, Tone Deaf Person of the Week. What do you got?
I had a tough one this week, Michael. New job, a lot of teams meetings, introduction to new people. I'm usually pretty good with names overall, and the beauty of this remote work environment that we live in today is if I forgot your name, it's sitting right under your stupid little face here on the screen in front of you.
It's sitting
Michael
on our
Sharp.
screens right now recording this.
Sitting there right now. In case I ever forget Michael's name, it is right there. This week, I was on a call with two internal CDW people. Two people I don't know, but I was able to tell you what their names were because, they were on the meeting invite and like their names were on the screens and all that stuff. I'm smart like that. I don't know. Maybe common sense isn't so common, but my tone deaf person of the week goes out to one of the people in this meeting consistently throughout the duration of this 1 hour meeting. That was a painful meeting to begin with because it essentially boiled down to it being an Excel class session. It was so dumb. I know how to do a VLOOKUP, so I'm hot and bothered by that anyways, but this woman called the other person the wrong name the entire hour meeting, and also the person never corrected them. But how do you do that? At one point, I stepped away for a second. I was assuming that they were going to correct them, privately. It's a little less awkward. I came back. They had the correct name going, then went back to the wrong name later on in the meeting. And besides the fact that it ended up just being I know how to do a VLOOKUP, so I wasn't paying that much attention anyways. I was just sitting in my chair cringing every time that happened. It was so brutal. It was a tough go of it. It's right in front of you. I know we're all everyone works so hard. You're blind to the computer, blah blah blah. But that's just that's bad. Day one stuff. That it was ugly.
I don't like. Wasn't that our caption? I wonder if I have a real tone deaf. I wonder if Jake heard that somewhere. Then I have one that was went down on the nose. Went down.
Mine wasn't real.
No. Yours is very real. That is very tone deaf. I have a tone deaf that was mine that I came up with, and then a tone deaf that was brought to our attention by Nathan Chakowski, a friend of the program, local fan.
Yep.
He responded on one of our last Instagram posts. Tone deaf person of the week, Jake Konikoff, for skipping everyone in the TSA line, including myself, because his flight was boarding and he was going to miss it. I responded, thank you for bringing this to our attention. At Jake Konikoff, is this true? Completely unacceptable. Chalk responds, I can't let this get swept under the rug. Connie, sadly can confirm, but I didn't miss my flight. I responded, you make me sick. Looks like an early entry for next week's episode. Whatever it takes to get on the pod. Incredibly tone deaf. Get there. You don't even, Connie. I'm not a guy who's
I know
2 hours.
Yeah.
You need nothing. And where was he? Why was he with? How did he skip Chalk? Was he in Columbus?
I don't, because Chalk was in Chicago, so I think this was at
Maybe
O'Hare.
He was on the way back.
It was at O'Hare coming back, but also I know he stayed with Moose. Like, how were you that late?
Moose, yeah.
What'd you fuck up? What'd you guys fuck up over there? Because that is extremely tone deaf.
Unacceptable.
And you knew
Unacceptable
this was going
to
to come
Connie.
back to us.
Connie,
Also-
that queen.
That queen.
What? Also what?
The take of doing the snack service on the airplanes, what was your take?
That was really good. I really
It was a
liked
good
it.
take.
If anybody didn't see that one, it was you don't need to do the snack service, drink service from New York to Chicago. You don't need to feed adults every 2 hours. I don't care about that. I don't care about the snacks or not. But comment I saw, which I really agreed with, handing them the cookies and your drink as you walk in.
Yeah.
It might take a little longer in boarding, but it will never clog up the thing. Very simple, I thought.
I agree with that. I always get pissed.
And,
I'm like, the drink
and
person,
realistically,
like, you can't do anything.
realistically, what they should have is that cart out of the plane before you even get on. There's already a line backed up. They already send too many people at once when you're waiting in the connector. Might as well double duty, get some things done. Anyways, I did like that take. So Connie, that queen, that was a wrong side Instagram tone deaf.
Mm-hmm.
And my tone deaf, though, my real tone deaf, is Aaron Rodgers. He's completely torn down the Jets. They've lost their GM now. They've lost their head coach now. They traded for Davante Adams. He said this week he wants to play in 2025, but not for the Jets. He's lock it in now.
It's
Might be a
really
Viking.
remarkable.
Might be a Viking.
Not
Next
shocked.
part
Would
of
not
the
be
Favre-
shocked at all.
Of the Favre lifetime, but unbelievable. It's crazy that these athletes, they are incredible players, but have the power to do that. It's a players' league, in my opinion. Now there's no ownership, nothing, and it sucks. The Jets have no picks now, and they traded for Davante Adams, and now what? He's going to be on a different team next year, and Davante Adams is going to be there with another new quarterback. Like, just a disaster, in my opinion. Like, might as well have just stuck with Zach Wilson for another year, and then you could have had your pick of the litter with quarterbacks. But pathetic, very tone deaf, in my opinion.
Thanksgiving Day.
Aaron Rodgers is obviously no stranger to the spotlight and being a diva in this league. The fact that it's a players' league, there's a couple different things here. Like, when there's super teams in basketball, guys want to go play with their friends. For the integrity of the game, maybe people don't love it. Like Kevin
Giants,
Durant, that was a horrible move. But there are benefits to things being a players' league and players being able to have impact.
Smell that
decisions.
Gatorade.
But this is not entirely Aaron Rodgers' fault, but a big part of the situation is Aaron Rodgers' fault. And we're the head coach, he's the head coach, he's the GM. These people are all getting fired around him, but he's I had no part in any of this. So, the guy's an asshole. Just does not seem like a good teammate, except he's unless you're in his inner circle. He's a weird guy. Completely torn down the Jets. I think he has to. He's under contract with them still. So
yeah, I don't know.
Unless he goes into retirement and comes back again, maybe that would be the true completion of the Favre era if he tried to pull one of those.
True.
I'd be curious to see what happened to Favre when he was on the Jets. I know they weren't that good, nor was he on the Vikings, but maybe it went down similarly like that. I'd be curious to know how much the parallels really ran together, but it's crazy. It's not great. Even the defense that was supposed to be their strength, is really
they have not done
days.
well.
Yeah, not done well, especially as the year has gone on. Welcome to the Aaron Rodgers show. Maybe he's a giant. Some people are also saying he may be a giant.
Someone asked where he's going to play next year, and I saw on Twitter someone said the Pat McAfee show.
Yeah, literally.
So something to look at. But Aaron Rodgers, Connie, and teams calls all tone deaf. Wrong side, right side. What do you got?
I'll start with the right side. Obviously, we like football. If you've been listening to the show for any amount of time, I think you can get that pretty quick.
We are fans.
We are. Yes. But December usually is a time for basketball, Christmas Day basketball. But this year, they're really going all out for football. There's a Chiefs game on Black Friday, hopefully trying to get to Columbus by kickoff for that one. But a 3:30 start on Black Friday, that's pretty weird. But really, December football is my right side. We're inching closer to the end of both college football and the NFL season. And bowl games are here from December 14th all the way up until at least January 10th. With some other games sprinkled in there. There is either college football bowl games or NFL games going on, and I think Christmas Day is an off day for everyone. But there's Christmas Day NFL games and Christmas Day NBA games. Maybe it was Christmas Eve, but aside from maybe 1 or 2 days,
I think there's no Christmas Eve football, but there's Christmas Day football.
Yes, that is correct. But a lot of football going on in December. A lot of people are taking time off, circling back after the New Year. So a lot of time to kick your feet up and watch some random bowl games at places that are going to be warmer than Chicago. So I'll get to live vicariously through that. So I'm looking forward to that. Should I do my wrong side or do you want to go there?
Yeah, I think you should do your wrong side.
Oh, had to look at my notes to remember what I was gonna say. So, I have a large bed in my room, and I like keep stuff nearby. I got my AirPods somewhere in there. I got maybe a
Sure.
book, a water bottle, like who knows, a snack. You always got to be prepared when I'm
Crackers.
crackers when I'm lounging. But we got these little baby Gatorades that we keep in the house, and Gatorade stains. My mom has yelled at me a good couple times back in the day for spilling red Gatorade wherever. And I woke up. It was a week. I think it was this Friday, and I woke up and had spilled a purple Gatorade all over my sheets and pillows. And I know what you would ask. Oh, you probably got to that right away, Joey. You rolled over into wet, woke up not very happy, and you probably got to work cleaning things up, right? Wrong. What I did, a couple of the pillows were there, threw the damaged pillow. I ripped the pillowcases off of those, threw them off the bed, twisted the blanket around because some had got on the comforter, and slept for another hour. Afterwards, I ripped the sheets off the bed. They're currently still sitting on the floor behind me. I have not washed those yet.
Let me
And
ask you
switched the
this.
sheets.
Okay. I was gonna say, have you replaced the sheets or sleeping on the
Oh,
mattress?
oh, I would never. I could never do that. I'm greasy, but I'm not that greasy.
Wow.
Wrong
What a
side of
wrong
spilling on
side.
the Gatorade and waking up. I was early on a Friday, so like I never want to
Oh,
wake up early on a Friday because I spilled the
sure.
Gatorade in my bed because I'm a child. That's my wrong side.
Little kid, sippy cups from now on around your bed.
Yes. Oh, that's actually a
Um,
great idea.
okay. All right. You get the gerbil one. You can like
Yeah.
attach to the bad friend. Um, wow. For me, wrapping up, right side, wrong side. Right side, rivalry week. Will Howard, and
Nice.
we'll see Jake for the first time since August. I didn't go to drop off, so I haven't seen him in a while. We have that. Good stuff coming up. We have dinner at the Halloran's Friday night, Sharper Halloran dinner. We are going to meet Jake's girlfriend this week. We have a bunch of friends going to be in for the game, so we're going to have that. Friday hanging out. Saturday we got the game. Saturday night drinking, enjoying it. Sunday, I'll bounce out of there Sunday, but gonna be a fun weekend. Let's hope we get on the right side this week. I'm excited. I haven't been back to Columbus in, I think, about a year. I went one time last season, so I haven't been back in a little bit. So very excited for that. And wrong side, I did have a couple small ones. Uh, Alex Ovechkin, he's chasing the Wayne Gretzky goal
Brutal.
record, out 4 to 6 weeks with a hip injury. Incredible wrong side. I thought he was going to get it this year. Who knows if he gets it this year? Hopefully, he could still potentially get it. It's going to be close to get it this year, but might need one
Yeah.
more season, in my opinion. I
I
also
will
looked at
say.
total points. Have you
Mhm.
ever looked at total points? Like
No.
the amount of assists Gretzky has, like even if what's his name, Alex Ovechkin gets the most goals, he's
Yeah.
like not even top three, I think, in all time points.
The great one. It's Gretzky's insane. Obviously weren't around during his day, and like hockey is not one of the biggest things here. My dad's a big hockey fan. Where I was going to say my quick story on that, but yeah, Gretzky, the great one for a reason. Definitely a goat of all goats is
I
Wayne
was gonna,
Gretzky.
I was just gonna say that. Do you think Wayne Gretzky is the goat of goats? I
He's
was just gonna say
he's up
that.
there for sure. I think you can put like Tiger up there. Like all other sports, practically I would say
Have
Brady is
arguments.
probably in the conversation. All other sports have way bigger arguments than Gretzky and hockey. But my dad is a big hockey guy. He's from Northern Michigan. Like we'll go up there and like go see like high school hockey games, like with him and one of his brothers. Like they like to do that stuff. And I don't text my dad a lot. We're not like, hey, did you see the game? Like he's not a huge football guy. He's kind of a Lions fan. We don't text like that even since I moved out. But there are two memorable times that I have texted him just like out of the blue a piece of news. One was Alex Ovechkin getting hurt chasing Wayne Gretzky's points record. He's not even a huge Ovechkin fan, but he's a big hockey fan. He probably
Sure,
knew
sure.
already. He probably knew already, but I felt that I needed to tell my dad that. And two, my first concert ever was to go see Rush for my 12th
Okay.
birthday with my dad.
Legendary.
And Neil Peart, one of the best drummers of all time, top 3 in my opinion. He passed away my freshman year of college. I texted my dad that, and he was very upset. So those are the two memorable times I've texted my dad a piece of news.
Interesting. Okay, very exciting. Yeah, I mean, Ovechkin's incredible. I'm looking at it now. He's potentially gonna pass in goals, but he's not even. He's 13th all time in points.
Wow.
Gretzky has 894 goals, 1,963 assists.
That's nuts.
Insane. So that's the wrong side for injury. Another sports one. for wrong side I had was the punter from Kansas Jayhawks. They had a big win over Colorado this year. Punter Damon Greaves, his punter for Kansas City Jayhawks, similar to Ohio State and a couple other teams in the nation. He's from Australia. Not uncommon that some teams have Australian punters, kickers, etc. So his family comes into town. They fly all the way to Kansas City. The game was at Arrowhead or Gayha, whatever it's called now, Gayha Stadium, Arrowhead Field. Colorado versus Kansas at Kansas City in Chief Stadium. Family came all the way from Australia to see him play. No punts from the Kansas Jayhawks.
Very wrong
Family
side.
didn't see him once. Very wrong side, so I feel for Damon Greaves. What a bummer. And my last wrong side that we moved on too fast from a society, Jay Leno. I know it kind of happened around Tuesday, Wednesday last week, right? As like an episode release, so it was kind of like old news. But I don't think we talked about it enough as a society. His whole face is bruised up. He broke his wrist. It sounds like the mob came after him. That's what it sounds.
It really, it looks like it too.
Why did you tumble down this hill when you couldn't just Uber around? You're worth $400 million. Like, just go call an Uber. Like, ridiculous. Something was up. Jay Leno wrong sign. And he's kicked his ass a couple times, like on his bike, in his cars, this now. Yeah. Complete wrong side.
He's just not great at creating parlays, I guess. So, or he's real clumsy. One sounds more likely than the other if he's worth $450 million to me.
100%. 100% agreed. But that's pretty much all we got for the week. Thank you guys for listening. Happy Wrong Side Wednesday. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes.
Joey and I are publicly apologizing. This comes out on Wednesday, the 27th. We're publicly apologizing right now for the football you'll have to watch on the 28th of Thursday, Thanksgiving football, Bears, Lions, and Cowboys, Giants. I think there also is Packers, Dolphins maybe, which might be a better game. But we apologize from our side for the first two games of the morning.
That was a good one.
Have a good... Yeah, got to be ahead of that. Let's get ahead of that apology. Thank you guys for listening. Follow Wrong Side Takes on all platforms. Happy Rivalry Week. Look forward to showing a lot of content this week in Columbus.
Stay blessed.